Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB, and we fire things up now. Get your thinking caps on. Get questions for White Sox hitting coach Todd Steverson. Fire up the webcam. Talk to him, get some FaceTime. Or meanwhile, use hashtag Chatting Cage to get your questions in. Todd, are you ready to field questions from the fans as they get fired up?
I'm ready to go. Get fired up.
All right, here we go, folks. Hashtag Chatting Cage is the way to do it. If you put it out there, I'll find it and I'll read it. Just like this. This is from 347_zone top. Who are some influential coaches in your playing career, Todd?
The late great, in my opinion, George Kissel. I started my career in coaching with the St. Louis Cardinals, and if you know anything about George Kissel or heard anything about him, he was with Tony La Russa all his time out there while he was in the manager of St. Louis. He taught me quite a bit about the game, and really the organization is modeled after a lot of things that he had done in his career.
One of the great ones of all time, certainly an influential guy. Folks, that's how it works, just like that. Get your webcam fired up. Join us here in the show. Get FaceTime with Todd. Meanwhile, I'll keep the coach grilled with questions from Twitter. I go back now to Surround_Tom. Coach, who are some players you think will surprise White Sox fans this year?
You talking about with the White Sox?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's what he's looking for.
Okay. Well, hopefully, there's been a lot of talk about him. He's been doing really good this spring training. Hopefully, Avisail Garcia is a surprise to everybody. And, you know, it's been well documented with him that he's been scrutinized a little bit. But the man is 24 years old, and I think he could have a chance to have a breakout year this year.
There you have it, folks. He's the guy that you're looking for as a breakout player, and Todd's going to do everything. Coach's going to do everything he can to get him there. I guarantee you that. As spring training starts to wind down, we look forward to the full season. Fans, get your webcam fired up, like this fan right here. Join us in the cage. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your question for Coach?
What's up? I'm Andrew from Chicago, Illinois. And, Coach, just curious, what's one of the best parts of being a hitting coach for a Major League team?
Best part of being a hitting coach in general, in my opinion, is watching the guys grow, watching them execute a game plan against a pitcher, really watching them have fun out there, because hitting is one of the hardest things to do in sports, in my opinion. And when you're able to be successful on a consistent basis in this game, there's no better gratification for the player and myself, knowing how hard and how many hours he puts in with his routine going into the game.
That is certainly something fans may not really understand, the amount of hours and time these players, these coaches put into making sure hitting a round ball with a round bat squarely is what occurs, one of the toughest things in sports. That's Coach Todd Steverson of the White Sox. I'm JB. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I go now to the EDJ question of the day. Coach, what's your one-tip best practice for young hitters trying to take their game to the next level?
It probably had to be on time and keep your head down on the baseball. There's a lot of other integral parts about, the game, and you can really confuse yourself doing this, your hands, your feet, your elbows, your shoulders. But if you try to simplify it the most, it'd be pretty much timing and head position for me. You can't do anything without timing, and the biggest thing probably is swinging strikes. Everybody that knows me in Chicago knows I talk a lot about swinging and strikes, the balls in the strike zone. Majority of hits you're going to get in your career off strikes, so why not swing at them and look for them?
Well, and I would follow up on that, sort of two parts in one way. You say head down on the baseball. What is it that's so key about that? Is it the chin? Is it the neck? What flies out or what messes you up if your head starts wobbling?
Well, the chin, you center your body. It's a rotational / linear sport, and that sounds kind of oxymoron, like it's not right. Like you rotate to get linear, but really it's a drive and a rotation. So if you take a look at how everything moves as a hitter, yes, you want to keep your chin as close as you can to the center of your body so you can rotate around your axis, which is really right down the middle of your head to your belly button. And if that gets out of whack, that's when you hear guys say, I'm flying open, I'm collapsing, things like that, because you can't rotate properly.
There you have it, folks. That's the expansion of that idea. Take your notes, young hitters. Focus on this. I'm telling you don't get skills like this and information like this anywhere else. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That's Coach Todd Steverson of the White Sox. I go back to Twitter while you get your webcams fired up to join us in the show. at 111 Aces wants to know. I know you're from the West Coast. You spend your time in Phoenix down there, but what do you like most about working in Chicago?
Be honest with you, I don't really get to do much more in Chicago other than pretty much go to work. I'm usually at the ballpark every day by about 12:30, and I get out of the ballpark around somewhere between 10:30 and 11. The sightseeing is kind of minimal. Off days, I may go golfing. They got some nice golf courses out there. But pretty much my days are wrapped up around work in Chicago. But I love the city. It's a great city.
Great city. And I guess if you are going to have to go to somewhere to go to work, you have a pretty great office to go work at in Chicago.
Has a great office. Yeah, we just redid the clubhouse in Chicago, and it's nice to go to every day.
There you go. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That's Coach Todd Steverson of the Chicago White Sox, the hitting coach there. I'm JB. Join us here in the cage. Get your questions, your FaceTime in, just like this fan right here. What is your name? Where are you from? What's your question for Coach?
Hey, it's John from Bronx, New York. I'm a man who loves to eat, and I just wanted to know, are you a big, deep dish pizza fan?
Actually, I'm the complete reverse. I am a thin crust fan. I do eat the deep dish when it's available. I mean, you can only eat so many of them, but they are good in Chicago, and they are pretty addicting. So I try to stay as close to thin crust as possible. I mean, I'm not a small man either, so I'm not trying to throw too many more lbs on this body.
It's important to keep dietary restrictions are important. So I got to ask then, the natural follow-up to any Chicago question about the deep dish pizza is the Chicago hot dog. Are you a fan of the amount of stuff that goes into a Chicago hot dog?
And somebody'd have to verify this for me because growing up in Los Angeles, mustard and ketchup and relish were all a part of a hot dog where I came from. But I know there's some places, if you even ask for ketchup, that they won't even give you the hot dog. Like you're not supposed to put ketchup on your hot dog in some places. And if that's true, somebody go ahead and tweet in and make sure it's either ketchup or mustard, one of the two. But I like both. So, Portillo's, I've gone over to Portillo's, had theirs, and their Italian beef. So, I get a little bit of the Midwest flavor. I
like it. There you go, folks. You get all of it. You get the center rotation, keep your chin down, how to properly eat a hot dog. That's what the Edward Jones Chatting Cage is about. Coach lets us in on that. I go back to Twitter while I get the cameras fired up. It's from CJ_Asbury. When did you know that you wanted to become a coach?
Probably when I knew I couldn't play anymore and I still loved the game. I blew my shoulder out in 1997, and I had a labrum surgery way before the new technology came out, and it never really came back to be what it was supposed to be. But I love the game so much. I like talking the game. I spent a lot of time with a lot of good players that I played with coming up. Kirk Gibson, Larry Herndon, Cecil Fielder, Alan Trammell, Tony Gwynn. I got a lot of knowledge from them, and just their love and their explanations of the game would have been good for me to pass on a lot of things I had learned in that respect. So that's pretty much when I knew, roughly around 97, 98.
There you have it, folks. Insights into how Coach became a coach. Injuries and surgeries have changed over those years. That's a big gap in that 15 years since then. What labrum surgery is now, for sure, one of those things. I stay with Twitter while you get the cameras fired up. This is from High Noon, and it sort of follows up on now that you are a coach and have been one, what's the toughest part of the gig?
Toughest part of the gig is probably keeping everything in perspective on the process of what we're doing. Everybody wants to say it's a travel, and I mean, obviously being away from the family, your family and things like that is tough. But as it relates to the on-field things, the everyday ups and downs of players and keeping them in perspective is sometimes tough. But it's also challenging enough to the aspect that, that kind of keeps me driven and going in the direction I like to go, which is keep everybody, singularly focused going toward a championship.
Well, Coach, we're about to wrap up your round in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Let me just ask you real quick, how was the session for the team today?
Our cage today? Oh, it's pretty good. We had obviously a highly touted Mr. Jose Abreu had one of the more impressive rounds. Also, Melky Cabrera was having a good time, and Adam Eaton working on some things, being able to shoot the ball around the field. Try to work his barrel, and the practice of when you actually get to see a baseball. The hardest thing in hitting is you don't really get to see velocity every day. Mm-hmm. So regardless if you're taking soft toss or tee, it's tough to practice 95 miles an hour every day. So you really got to be understanding of what you're doing when you do see BP, so you can just get your body in position to do what you want to do.
Sounds like the White Sox had a great day in BP under your watchful eye. And as the resident, I guess, veteran in this chatting cage, I'd like to say you had a great day as well. Made some good contact, put balls in play all over the field. Well done on that, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, that's Coach Todd Steverson of the White Sox. I'm JB. That wraps up another round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.